How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Invincible review. Today we're going to be talking about the third episode of Season 3 titled So You Want a Real Costume, right? This episode has more of an emotional feel to it, diving more into the personal connections between all of our characters and even some villains. Make sure you grab some tissues with your snack, hit that subscribe button, and let's get started. This opening scene is so unnecessary. Like, there's no reason to have your opening scene be inside of a bank with nothing but emotional music so that way you know you're going to need some ice cream for this viewing. Two small-time villains that we've never heard of before, Maniac and the Tether Tyrant. I actually had to look that up since it was never mentioned in the show or even on Amazon Prime's little X-ray thing while you're paused on the show. Regardless, they decide to rob a bank. But we can tell right away that there's something different about them compared to the rest of the other villains. Instead of directly hurting or tellers, Tether Tyrant tells them to move out of the way so that way Maniac, which is a stupid name by the way, can shoot his hot magma making a way to the bank vault while Tether Tyrant stomps out the fires and brings all the patrons to safety. While Maniac is melting the vault door, Tether Tyrant is looking around proud at the work they've done and the little girl, changing his whole mood when he notices how scared she is, clenching to her mom. Bulletproof comes to save the day, punching the crooks out of the window, but these guys are a lot smarter than your average criminals. With the next shot being them arguing with each other at home as we can see their bills piling up, but with love, the right partner, anything can change. When they're walking home from the grocery store and past the same little girl that was inside of the bank when they were robbing it, I could almost cry. But like I said, grab your tissues because this tale unfortunately does not come with a happy ending. With rent increasing, they try to go out and find better, higher paying jobs met with nothing but door slams to the face. Getting slammed with orders at the restaurant, he decides to use his powers to heat up the grill a little bit, causing all of the burgers to be fried little pieces of charcoal. Maniac is getting talked down to by his boss, causing Tether Tyrant to lose his shit on the boss, making them both get fired and losing their jobs. On their way back home from the restaurant, Tether Tyrant notices that there is a grand reopening of the bank that they just destroyed, stepping towards it before Maniac stops him, forcing him to break down in Maniac's arms. Eating canned beans, talk about hitting rock bottom. The final eviction notice is slid under the door. Shit, talk too soon. Forcing them to be homeless, deciding to re-rob the bank. Is that even a word? Re-rob? Well, it is now. Deciding to finally re-rob the bank, not even taking more than a duffel bag. While running for it, Maniac locks eyes with another mother-child combo, this time shrugging off those feelings before being smashed in the face by fighting off Invincible, seeming to do a damn good job at it. Maniac is about to make the final lava burst as Invincible is saved by the plot. I guess you can call that an ex machina. Alright, I'll just see myself out. Or not, since Tether has them both wrapped up again, but god damn his conscience. The dumbass lets him go, which is sweet, but then Mark decides to break every single bone in his body by Looney Tuning him up against the wall. Oliver's been trying to learn some manipulation tactics to use on Mark, it seems like.
You promised you wouldn't use your powers without me. You could have gotten hurt.
I'm not using my powers without you. You're here.
I told you guys, he's a little sociopath. Now we're back at the Graysons and Mama Bear is brawl.
Am I in trouble?
What do you think?
I love how Mark took over the Papa Bear role.
Go to your room. Your brother and I need to discuss what you've done.
They did a really good job at making him have the mentality of a normal Earth child even with his powers being unlocked.
And what have I said about flying in the house?
Come on, that's funny, especially with the slow float down to the floor. As I said last episode, I understand and respect Debbie for wanting to protect Oliver and try to give him a normal childhood, but like Mark says,
asking him to not use his powers isn't realistic.
I agree. I know if I was a child and I had Oliver's powers, I would be using them all the time. My frisbee gets stuck in a tree? Go grab a ladder? Nah, fuck that. Think about it, Debbie. It'll be so much easier to clean the gutters now. Eve at school encounters Amber at school and they decide to go get coffee together, which I want to discuss the transition from school to coffee shop because it is just so beautiful and clean. It's definitely one of my favorite from the series so far. Like, can we just appreciate how clean that was? Kudos to the animators. Amber guesses about Mark and Eve's relationship since Eve couldn't just spit it out.
You two are dating. It's okay, William told me.
Not really giving a shit, explaining she's just glad it didn't happen the next day. How their worlds are too different, but Mark and Eve both have superpowers, so they definitely have more in common together, which is just such a crazy thought process. Yeah, they're both heroes, but that doesn't mean they're fit for each other. You're such a goober, Amber. Teen Team is grouping up at their old lair.
Technically, the deed is...
Alright, Rudy, calm down. We didn't ask for semantics. Point is, you guys have a new lair. I just want to say there's going to be a lot of booty bouncing. Everyone other than Bulletproof is
together. Like, together.
When Rex brings Ray into his old bedroom, me and Lady Maj laughed so fucking hard because it's basically a mirrored version of how my room was when Lady Maj met me. Just pizza boxes, bottles, and snack wrappers everywhere. Except the bottles weren't empty. Bruh, Ray should have been taken away from her. Now I kind of understand Debbie a little bit more. Just listen to this.
Suddenly, instead of soccer in the backyard, I'm learning chokeholds and bomb defusals.
What terrible parents.
Mine sold me to the government for the price of a steak dinner.
Fuck, I always speak too soon. Rex's parents were even worse. We got Rudy and Monster Girl going over their romance scene in the lair.
This is the first time I've actually been here. I kept my real body at another location.
Yeah, because you were grotesque. You think Monster Girl would want you if you opened the door and she saw this? I would immediately seize from the stress of seeing that monstrosity. I'm sorry, I don't care, that thing is horrifying. But since I have this scene up, can we just talk about how thick this robot body is in the background? Transferring over to the city, Mr. Liu
Disgusting American presents.
is talking business with Isotope, wanting to get Multipole out of prison, but Isotope isn't budging at all.
Mr. Liu, with all respect, I don't care about your order.
The balls on Isotope are massive. He doesn't give a damn about anything Mr. Liu is trying to negotiate, and just tells him.
Even if I agreed with you, which I don't.
Eventually settling for a one-time payment.
Then, I don't want to see his fucked up face in my city again.
I mean, I ain't gonna tell him that, but... You got it, boss.
Flying through the sky practice training with Oliver to get their new suits from the main man himself.
Kid Omni-Man is here!
Jesus Christ, Oliver.
He told me the O was for Oliver.
This kid, man, a manipulator.
Can you give us a minute?
Mark having to explain to Oliver why the name is such a problem. Art hits us with the design change from Mark, and I have to say, it's incredible. The color scheme is just mwah. Troubles afoot. Oliver takes off to go show off his new suit. The only problem is...
He has no idea where we're going.
Oliver decides to just go for it, even with Mark.
When we're out in public, you gotta call me Invincible.
Okay, sorry. Even with Invincible's warning before getting completely shit on.
He's raining boy!
He really needs to learn how to control his anger, or at least his punches when he's mad.
Leave him alone!
For absolutely no reason.
Oliver!
I thought we weren't supposed to use our real names.
Oh, thank God.
Overprotective much, pal? Debbie's on her second date with Paul, yet again fishing for compliments.
No, just after our last date, I didn't think I was getting another.
Which forces Debbie to spill the true beans on all the family drama.
Nolan wasn't a travel writer. And he's not dead.
So all that stuff in Chicago, maybe I should go.
Scaring Paul, but I truly think it's just his insecurities.
I'm just a normal guy with thinning hair and a bad back.
Debbie has the moves, though. She saves it.
I like your hair.
That was a disgusting kiss. Dude, you didn't even kiss her back. Unless he just has bird lips. Eve's trying to move back in with her parents. My favorite part of the whole just accept me for who I am business that they're having right now is just the dad grunting the entire time. Eve is pouring her heart out to come home. The mom is so happy and the dad's just... Before coming to the proposed agreement.
All right. It's a deal. I need a beer.
Ooh, Debbie and Paul got wine drunk. Debbie, Debbie, Debbie. You go, Debbie, little hot mama. But of course, someone always has to ruin the mood.
Are you guys gonna mate now?
Fucking Oliver, man, this kid is too much. At first, I was hating the thought of him being around at the end of season 2, but he's growing on me.
We were at a comic book store opening.
Then realization hits Mark.
You told him?
Which I have to say, I'm completely on Mark's side here. I love Debbie and think she's a wonderful person and mother, but at the same time, how are you going to tell someone on the second date that your sons are superheroes and that your ex-husband murdered the strongest superheroes on the planet in order to get it ready for a galactic takeover? Don't worry though, Paul saves himself and makes Mark look
I
like
once a famous rock star and never told us all.
Oh yeah? Who?
Exactly.
Our usual even Mark nighttime rooftop sesh goes exactly how you think it would. My parents, my brother, blah blah blah, before there's another one of those cameras spying on them. This final scene kills me every time. I remember when we first watched this episode, we were cackling so hard we had to rewind it like 3 times. This MP is talking about how she was part of the cleanup crew when the Lizard League tunneled its way through into the base.
Right here.
But the safest place to stand is where lightning's already struck. Because lightning never strikes the same place twice, you know?
That was easier than I thought.
Poor fucking Tania, the Mauler twins, man.
That's the US military for you. Always fixing things as cheaply as possible.
I mean, he's not wrong at all. I've known plenty of people that have gone into the military and they can tell you the same thing. Starting to disassemble the nuke at the base.
Hey, watch it! Nukes don't go off from impact, idiot.
I have to check if that's accurate. Something tells me it is, but I personally always thought it was the impact that made the nuke detonate. Well, according to Google AI, they require a specific internal mechanism to initiate the nuclear fission reaction, which typically involves a high explosive charge that compresses the fissile material to a critical mass, causing the chain reaction that results in the explosive. Therefore, simply hitting a target with a nuke wouldn't set it off. Huh. Look at that, you learn something new every day. Thanks, Maulers. The new Guardians burst in and between the Mauler lines.
They've downgraded us.
Shapesmith.
And now I say something.
I don't know what's funnier. The new Guardians suck, though. The Maulers really put some thought into this plan.
Who would have guessed the one weakness all Guardians have in common is their nervous system? I did. That's why I built it.
They're not wrong. How the hell are you supposed to fight when you're seizing? I guess I would know, huh? This fight scene is pretty fun. Not the best that we've seen, but it's very satisfying to watch all of the new Guardians get their ass kicked by the Maulers.
I don't think so.
Debbie convinces Mark to go help out the Guardians even though he doesn't work for Cecil, but he still ends up getting roasted when he gets there.
That's Invincible. I saw him on TV.
Oliver comes downstairs looking for Mark since it's supposed to be like their training day, but then he sees him on the news before Debbie can turn it off since he was flying instead of walking down the stairs and she couldn't hear him. The Maulers are truly evil geniuses when they reveal their plan to the seizing Mark.
Once we destroy the entire planet's communications network with our EMP missile, you'll have to pay to use our shielded system instead. Oh, we're so much worse than supervillains now. We're businessmen.
Attempting to stand from the paralysis gun, the Maulers go to shoot Mark one more time just as Omni Boy comes in to save the day.
You guys are in big trouble.
This time I'm agreeing with Oliver during about him leaving after getting his face smashed in the ground.
I said get out of here!
I'm fine. You just distracted me.
I mean, Oliver has been holding his own since he showed up, but it wasn't until Mark was talking to him that he got hit. Thinking there's a chance that they're gonna lose, the Maulers decide to set off the nuke before they beat the heroes, which I think more villains should do. Like, is your ego that big that you have to do it in front of the heroes?
I want them to know they lost.
Okay, maybe their ego is big. A little too big. No, it truly is too big.
We don't usually murder children.
Oh shit, well it doesn't look like you're murdering anyone. Mauler number 2, on the other hand.
We warned you, you little shit!
Before we are shown the immense strength Oliver has been hiding.
And even then, I don't know if we can fix...
Yeah, That's my thoughts exactly. This kid is a menace to society already. I don't read the graphic novels because I like to see it play out animated, but I'm like 99% sure Oliver is gonna turn evil. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Just look at the way his head turns when he says,
That's what happens when you're a bad guy.
this kid's a literal nut job. This Mauler is pleading for his life.
Too late.
The rest of the Guardians finally wake up from their post-ictal snooze to see Oliver covered in blood, looking at him like he's a science experiment gone wrong.
It was an accident.
Cecil makes his first appearance this episode, trying to give Oliver some ease about the gruesome display he just put on for us.
They're just stunned, Oliver.
No, they're not, and Oliver isn't dumb. He's covered in blood, not to mention he flew straight through one! He knows they're not stunned, Cecil. Cecil is stunned once Mark sees him talking to Oliver.
I told you to stay away from my family.
Looks like you've been trying to hammer the family business.
It's at this point that I can't really understand Oliver. He keeps saying that he didn't mean to, but we all saw and heard what he said. Then he hits us with,
But now they won't hurt anyone else.
so maybe he does think he's doing the right thing, but I still personally think he just enjoys killing. This leads to a massive fight between Mark and Oliver, forcing Oliver to fly off crying.
Damn it, when did you get so fast?
When you decided to start training him, Mark. Ever think about that? Catching Oliver like the winning touchdown pass before being hit with the reality of what Oliver could potentially become.
You sound just like Dad.
Do you ever think that maybe Dad was right?
Eve drops by the Grayson since Mark is already missing their first date, but she's very understanding about it.
I can't believe I'm late to our first date.
Mark, stop. We both know how this works.
Before spilling the beans about what Oliver did at the missile silo.
He saw the Maulers attacking me, and he just killed them. The Immortal told me the second surrendered first.
Eve isn't understanding about this, though. She makes pretty light of it.
I am not trying to minimize what he did, but he's just a kid. Powers he doesn't know how to control yet.
Sure, he's a kid with powers he can't control yet, but it seemed like to me, and probably all of you watching at home, that he does know how to control them, and he did know what he was doing. He even freaking gave an explanation to Mark. Closing the episode with Debbie and Mark having a talk with Oliver, scolding him about what happened at the missile silo.
You told Mark that life isn't precious. Is that really how you feel?
Kinda.
But she handles it pretty well if you ask me.
Think about all the other people on this planet. They all have friends and families who would be sad if they died. Just because you don't know these people doesn't make their lives less important.
That's a great perspective to put it in for him to get him to easily understand it more. Oliver tries to argue that, saying that the Maulers had no friends and family, but since there's no rebuttal for that, Debbie just kind of stares at him angrily until he decides to say he understands. So I guess that counts, right? They all hug it out Full House style until Mark's Ultra Instinct kicks in by a camera spying on them, finishing off the mid-credits scene showing that Angstrom is the true owner of the camera that's been spying on them.
Such a happy family.
Alright, that's a wrap on episode 3 of Invincible Season 3. From the jaw-dropping twist to the emotional moments, it's clear that this season is not pulling any punches. But what do you think? Did episode 3 live up to the hype, or did it leave you with more questions than it did answers? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, I'd love to hear your theories. If you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss a new upload while we're going through this insane season of Invincible. And until next time, I love you guys. See you later. Literally snapped his arm and he was still able to get up and throw these punches and tase her? Thinking that he won, Cecil tries to disarm this gas bomb that's about to go off just as Force Fist.
Return just in time.
To kick Cecil's ass some more, just as we learn how smart Cecil is.